Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel where today we're doing my final regular season MLB power rankings. We are now 1 week into September, 4 weeks left to go in the regular season, and we pretty much know where every team is basically going to finish out here. So we have our 6 tiers here: World Series contenders, teams that can make a push into playoffs and divisional, teams that are like fighting for the last few wildcard spots, teams that are not wildcard teams but also not bad. These got your general average bad teams, and then a tier by themselves for the Colorado Rockies. First up on the list is the Minnesota Twins, who are going into the bad tier. I mean, they completely sold off any valuable piece they had at the trade deadline. They're currently the second worst team in the American League, 11 games back of the wild card spot. So yeah, they're not good. They're not going to be good for a long time either. Next up is the LA Angels, who currently sit at 66 and 75, 7 games back of the wild card spot. Their team are surprisingly bought at the deadline, but did not work out as per usual with this team. They're just bad. I mean, just bad in general. Next, we've got the Houston Astros, currently leading the AL West. They have a 3.5 game lead on the Mariners for that. I think they're in divisional. I don't see them as true World Series contenders. They're the worst division leader in all of baseball right now. But with their experience and their general level of talent, you cannot count this team out at all. And especially with the pitching staff being as good as it has been this year. So Astros definitely in divisional. Next up is the Oakland A's. Like the Angels, they're in bad tier. They're 65 and 77. Not playing good baseball, mainly because of the pitching. Their offense has actually been pretty solid. They got like one of the higher OPSs in the entire league. So that's good for them there. Next up we have is the Toronto Blue Jays. This team, I believe, is a World Series contender. They have the best record in the American League. They did lose 2 out of 3 against the Brewers, but they have been playing really good baseball, hitting the ball well, having some solid pitching. This is a team that can make some noise in October, so definitely up there in World Series contender. Next up, we have the Atlanta Braves, who are in the middle of a very disappointing season. Currently 64 and 77. Battling with the Nationals and Marlins for last place in their division. This is just it's a bad baseball team, which is really shocking considering the talent level they had in. Very, very, very disappointing season there for the Atlanta Braves. So they are going down here in bad. Next up is the Milwaukee Brewers. I feel dangerous putting them up here. They are World Series contenders. I know they've struggled the past few weeks, but they're still the best team in baseball by 4.5 games. They lead the league, the majors in run differential. They have good defense, good hitting, good pitching. They have it all, and this team is going to break my heart in the postseason. I just know it because that's just the reality of being a Brewers fan. But right now, they are the best team in baseball. That is a fact, and so they're definitely in World Series contenders. Next up is the St. Louis Cardinals, 70 and 72. I mean, they're just kind of meh. Not really in close to the postseason. They're 6.5 games back of the last wild card spot, but they're also not terrible. They're just old, broken, kind of like the same thing that we thought they would be entering the year. So they go down to meh. Next up, Chicago Cubs. Definitely a divisional team. They can definitely go far in the playoffs. I don't see them as a true World Series contender because of the Craig Counsell factor. Dude just makes baffling decisions in the playoffs, mismanages his bullpen, and their offense has cooled down compared to the start of the year. Granted, they're playing some decent baseball right now, but yeah, I don't think the Cubs are going to make it very far in the NL, especially with how stacked the NL is this year. But there's a world where they could. I'm just not betting on it, mainly because of Craig Counsell. I know that man. He is not going to do good for your team. Next up, Arizona Diamondbacks. Another one of these teams that are in the meh position. Better than the Cardinals. They're at 500, 71 to 71. Not really great, not bad. They're just kind of average, middle of the road. Dodgers. I'm actually putting them in divisional. I don't see it with them this year. I really don't. Their pitching is bad. Their offense is kind of not as elite as it once was. They're not even the third best team in the National League. I think this is a year that the Dodgers get bounced early, but this is also, they're still the Dodgers. They still got great talent. They can still make a run, but yeah, I don't think the Dodgers are one of the top contenders in baseball this year. Next up, San Francisco Giants. Meh. They're 72-69, 6 games back of the Dodgers in the division, 4 games back of the Padres for the wild card spot. They could theoretically make a run, but I'm not betting on it per se, so they're going down there in meh. Next up is the Cleveland Guardians. They're at 70-70, 2.5 games back of their final wild card spot. And I know the Giants have a better record, but Cleveland is a lot closer, and they're chasing down the Mariners, who have historically choked in playoff stretches. So there's a way that the Guardians could make a little run there to try to push for a playoff spot. I'm not betting on it, but it could happen. Jose Ramirez is good. Next up is Seattle Mariners. Right now, they have the last wild card spot in the American League. They are half game up on the Rangers. They have Cal Raleigh. They don't really have much else. So it'll be interesting to see if they're able to hold on down the stretch. Knowing Seattle, they'll throw it away because that's how they roll. Next up, Miami Marlins. 65-76. Not a bad season for the Marlins. They've actually shown some potential. Kyle Stowers is excellent. They absolutely fleeced the Orioles in that trade. They got some semblance of a pitching staff down there. They just need to get better on offense. They really, really do. But yeah, no. They're playing some really solid baseball. I mean, not solid. They're below 500, but for them, solid. Next up, New York Mets. They're a wild card. Currently 76-65. Tied for the second spot with the Padres in the NL. I mean, Juan Soto's been playing very good. I really hope the Brewers don't have to face them in the playoffs this year. But I don't know. This is also a team that can get bounced in both games because they have been a very, very, very streaky team right now. They're on a bit of an upswing right now. But I don't really believe in the Mets that much, so they're going down there into the wild card. Next up in meh, Cincinnati. You guys were close at one point, but now you're 6 games back on a wild card, a game below 500. Yeah, your trade deadline was stupid. You should have sold some pieces instead of buying in and let your core develop a little bit more. But yeah, not great for the Reds this year. Speaking of not great, we got the Washington Nationals, 56-84. Very bad baseball team. They got some talent there, but they got to shore up around them. You got to shore up around James Wood and C.J. Abrams. That's what you have to do because their pitching staff isn't really that great. The bullpen is bad. The rest of the offense is bad. James Wood is good, so yeah, Nationals down there and bad. Next up, Baltimore. What a disappointing season it has been for the Orioles. Going to here in the med tier, next with the LA Angels. 11 games below 500 with the team that had high expectations with that offensive core. I mean, yeah, their pitching was not going to be as good, but we thought the offense would be able to take over for them. Did not happen, so the Orioles are down and bad. Next up is the Padres. Currently sitting at 76-65. Tied with the Mets for the last wild card spot in the NL. They're on a skid, though. 2-8 in their last 10 games. Not playing great baseball right now, but they still got talent. They still got veteran experience. They could make some noise in the playoffs. So, yeah, they're in wild card. I'm not scared of them that much. Who I am scared of, though, is the Phillies. They're playing some really good baseball this year. 82-59, tied with the Blue Jays for the second best record in baseball. They just took the series out the best team in Milwaukee. They got the veteran pitching. They got the good hitting. They got a solid bullpen. The Phillies could very easily make a World Series and win a World Series this year. They're a very strong contender in the NL. Who's not a strong contender is the Pirates. Currently 64-78. They have won 7 out of the last 10 games. Playing some solid baseball. Gives you hope heading into next year potentially, but still. This team is basically Paul Skeens and nothing else. They've gotten lucky, I think, these past couple of games, so Pittsburgh definitely in bad. Jumping up to wild card tier, and a team I think is going to make the playoffs over Seattle is the Texas Rangers. They made some good additions to their bullpen. They've done very well overall in the last 10 games. They're on a bit of a winning streak here. They have a plus 91 run differential, which means they should be a better. Like, their expected win-loss record is 81-61. They're 73-69. They've had some bad luck of, like, close games. Yeah, starting to turn around a bit here in September. This is a team like 2 years ago won a World Series. They have the veteran presence there to make a little bit of a push, and if they make the playoffs, they could be dangerous. Speaking of another team that's making a push for the playoffs, Tampa Bay. Playing some good baseball right now as well. Again, like the Rangers, are 7-3, trending in the right direction as we head into September. Only 2 games back of Seattle. They could make a little bit of a push here. Also, in the one of the top wildcard spots in the American League, Boston. Everyone thought, oh, they traded away Rafael Devers. They're going to suck this whole year. They've actually played really good baseball this year. Definitely going to make the playoffs here, barring an absolute collapse. So definitely a very good team there in Boston. Colorado, they're the only team with over 100 losses, and we just started September. They're 40-101. Yeah, they're not good. I mean, Hunter Goodman's been good, so good for you, I guess. But yeah, no, your team sucks. Next up is the Royals. A game back of Seattle. Kind of like in this cluster of AL teams that are still fighting for a wild card spot. 72-69, 5-5 in the last 10 games. They can make a push. They made the playoffs last year. They can make it again this year. But we'll see what happens there with Seattle. Next up is Detroit. 81-61. Currently the second best team in the American League. But ever since the All-Star break, this team has not been great. They were on great pace to start the year, playing really good baseball. But ever since then, the offense has cooled off. Pitching has not been as good. There's still a danger in the American League. But I do not see this team making a big push to the World Series. I just think this entire second half has not been great for them. But you know whose second half has been great for them, or at least solid for them? Chicago. Still not a great team. Obviously, they're 54-88. The only team that is worse than them is Colorado. But they've been playing well in this second half. They're showing signs of development from the young talent. I think they're definitely better than what Minnesota's been playing in the second half so far. So Chicago, even though you're like the second worst team in baseball by record, unlike Colorado and some of these other teams in the bad tier, you have some hope heading into next year. They can get to be in Met or maybe even a wild card push. So yeah, good job Chicago. And the Yankees going in the top of wild card tier. I mean, they're playing some decent baseball of late, but they've been very mediocre in the second half of the year. I mean, Aaron Judge being out definitely doesn't help, but still. It's the Yankees. You expect them to be better. And so this is my tier list for the rest of the season. Worst season, you got the Brewers, Phillies, and Blue Jays. Divisional, we have the Tigers, Dodgers, Cubs, and Astros. Wild card, we got the Yankees, Red Sox, Mets, Padres, Mariners, Rangers, Royals, Rays, and Guardians. Meh, we have the Giants, Diamondbacks, Reds, and Cardinals. Bad, we have the Angels, Orioles, Marlins, Braves, A's, Pirates, White Sox, Twins, and Nationals. And in his own tier is the Colorado Rockies. Thank you all so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you for the next one. Peace.